If the white male is gonna rule, then he must crush the black male.
Yeah.
White male, you are wrong.
Yeah.
Because if in reality, because of white supremacy, you believe that in order for you to survive as a white man, you have to crush a black man's existence, then in crushing our existence, you are doing something to your own. Because ultimately, no power on earth,
No power,
for any long period of time, can keep any man from attaining what God himself has willed for that man.
yeah.
The truth nobody wants to say out loud is that black suffering is familiar to the world, but black peace makes people nervous.
I'm gonna keep saying this with my whole chest because some people are not deep thinkers. I understand that you're not a critical thinker. This is not for you. It's just not for you. Scroll up. So, my point today is, well, not today, but at this moment, like, why does black joy bother some white people? And some other groups, but majority is white people. And not all of you. You know what I'm talking about. You ever notice how the group of black folks, like they come together laughing, dancing, and just vibing, and suddenly it's labeled as too loud, too ghetto, or too much? Jealousy. Jealousy. You know why? Because they couldn't strip that away. And it's surviving. But let's be real. It's not about the volume that's the problem. It's the vibrations. It's the freedom. It's the fact that we can still find joy after centuries of trying to be stripped of who we are. We still make something out of nothing. You understand? See, black joy is like disruptive in certain people. It challenges. And where we're supposed to be broken, angry, and silent, it's like loving, living, and celebrating. So it's not just confusion. It's threatening to a certain group of people. Because black joy, for us, is power, is resistance, it's healing, it's ancestral. Of all the things they said we could not do, it's lies. Remember, we were here way before other groups were here. And now our happiness is not a performance. It's reclaiming who we said we always were. So the next time somebody looks uncomfortable with your black joy, remember that you're not the problem. They're just uncomfortable and can't believe that after all this time, we are still celebrating who we are and who we are meant to be and who we are growing to be. So tell me, have you ever felt like your joy made somebody else uncomfortable? Let's talk about it, y'all. To me, I don't give a flying fuck who feels uncomfortable. This is my life, my body, and if you feel uncomfortable, move the fuck away. Right? Because where I was for Black Bike Weekend, we were on the side, I'm not gonna say the grown folks side, but we like our peace. So of course, it was a mix of black and white people. Like, we all around each other. We all talking to each other. You think anybody grabbed their purse because they see bikers in leather? No, they're used to it. They're talking, they're waving, they're like, oh, let me tell me about your bike, blah, 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 blah. These are people talking, not afraid and not jealous. There are some, but we didn't cross any this weekend. Okay? But have y'all ever experienced that? Like, you having joy, you having celebration, especially with all the graduates. Did you see those comments talking about black fatigue in the comments of black joy celebrating the college? See, the point that I'm trying to get at is no one who doesn't, how can I say this? If you black, you understand. It comes naturally, and it doesn't matter what state you from. We all have a common denominator of celebrating our blackness, and people can't stand that. People can't stand that. And I'm not just talking about in America. We go somewhere else. Black joy is celebrated different ways, but we still have that common denominator of celebrating of what we achieve regardless of the fact. Okay, I'm gonna get off my soapbox. Anyway, happy Tuesday.
Black privilege is the most prominent form of privilege in America today, and we have examples to prove it. There was a large group of teenagers that ran through Chicago terrorizing the city. They were vandalizing, they were lighting cars on fire, they were attacking tourists and residents. They even went ahead and they attacked a white girl walking into her apartment building. About 30 of them started punching and kicking her on the floor as she was trying to escape, violently. This is black privilege. And the reason why it's black privilege is because there is no major investigation going on. The FBI is not looking into this. There's no hate crimes being, possibly dished out. The mayor-elect actually said, we should not demonize this youth as they have been starved of opportunity. He is giving them excuses, ultimately enabling and encouraging this sort of behavior. This is privilege. If this were a group of white teenagers, the FBI would be working with the mayor of Chicago right now to make sure that there was a hunt, that there were billboards, that anybody that was involved was brought in, and that hate crimes were dished out, and that there would be riots and protests throughout the entire city and possibly every city in America. Black privilege is the privilege to be able to do or say something without having the same social ramifications as other races, especially as white people. That is what black privilege is, and that is what we are seeing. We are seeing differences in the way things are being handled, and it's not just social ramifications anymore. It's now legal precedent. We're seeing as Chicago is not handling this the same way that they would handle it if it was a large group of white teenagers. And again, we're also seeing in America where there was a young boy that was shot and killed because he went up to the wrong house. We don't know the full story, but that seems like what the story was. And an 80-year-old white man shot him thinking that the boy was trying to break into his house or trying to harm him in some way. There was also a couple of other stories throughout America at that time. There was a story of a white girl that pulled into the wrong driveway and she was shot and killed. Yet, we don't see the same media outrage. We don't see the activism happening. The truth is that this doesn't just happen to black people, it happens to all people. And yes, I understand that we should fight to stop all of it. Unfortunately, we have to live in a reality. And every time we point the finger and say, well, that's because of racism, all we're doing is we're further dividing this country. So why not look at a situation and say, it was really bad that that happened. This is the reality that we live in. Let's try to figure out ways that we could stop this from happening. But instead, people start rioting and protesting because they think that there's something that was unfair that's happening to an entire race of people based on one incident.
Hello, beautiful people from Africa and across the ocean. Wherever you are listening me from, the continent, the Caribbean, Europe, and the America, this conversation belongs to you. Today is not about blame, it's not about rage, it's about clarity. Because once you see this clearly, you stop internalizing what was never yours to carry. There is an unspoken rule in this world we live in. Black people are allowed to struggle, allowed to survive, allowed to entertain, allowed to protest. But when black people settled into joy, real joy, something shifts. When we are not asking, not apologizing, not explaining ourselves, not shrieking, that's when that's when the tone changes. People start asking how we got it, why you have it, whether you deserve it, and this is happen everywhere, especially in America. Black family doing well is called lucky. Black professional who is confident is called intimidating. A peaceful black man is called suspicious. A joyful black woman is called too much. What's really being questioned is not behavior, it's belonging. Because joy signals ownership, peace signals self-preservation, and the system built on control don't know what to do with black people who are not asking for permission to breathe.
You know, what will the black folks do and stuff? We should be running down the street screaming, ramping, and raving, because when you look at the statistics, who is the one dying? From the policemen, from the KKK, from the skinheads. What is
The young lady said she's afraid of violence. And isn't it sad that we who have been the victims of so much violence, now whites fear violence from us? We do not have a history of killing white people. White people have a history of killing us. See? And what you fear, may I say this, sir? What you fear, and it's a deep guilt thing, that white folks suffer. You are afraid that if we ever come to power, we will do to you and your fathers what you and your people have done to us. And I think you are judging us by the state of your own mind, and that is not necessarily the mind of black people.
I need some black joy. The fact that black joy even exists as a concept in the world is miraculous to me. Asians are no good at joy. We are good at working hard and being diligent and doing our best, but not joy. Colonizers too. Rich lives, no joy. We should never have hooked our stars to theirs. But black people, especially black Americans, are the best at joy. You've turned it into an art form. I know it came from terrible hardship that you've turned into soul and then into joy. And we, Chinese people, we just turn that hardship into more hard work. But I know you can't give it to us. We have to go out and earn it for ourselves just like you did. Joy is a puzzle for every human being, and it's not free. When I ask my black friends where their joy comes from, they inevitably shake their heads and just repeat, "You can't let them take it away from you." That's what it's not. But what is black joy? Can you tell me?
I think white people are so triggered by black joy because they have zero control over it. And white people are all about control. And anything they don't get to control and manage and dictate freaks them the hell out.
They don't get to be.
Alright, racists, let's talk about your distaste for black joy. Racist America fumes at the sight of happiness, especially when that person smiling is black. It's as if this country specializes in anger Olympics. Being a little too happy disturbs the patriotism. 3 or more laughs in one place is like being investigated by a mall cop. I'm gonna need to see some ID. Because deep down, they believe that pain is the only state that black indigenous people are allowed to live in. Black people start laughing too loud at their cousin's cookout. They throw on some Frankie Beverly. They start dancing with their auntie in a sundress while the ribs are sizzling. Instantly, their lives are in danger. It's like watching a perfect example of a case study on people who have a problem with control. It's like their obsession isn't just with control, it's like with the optics of it as well. They want to be seen as dominant in the space. Because they seem to disappear when there is black joy. When you throw your graduation cap in the air, surrounded by your entire family in matching t-shirts, they don't see achievement, they see defiance. Because in their minds, success was never black people's storyline. The truth is, black joy is a glitch in the racist lies that they feed themselves. They built a whole myth of superiority that only works if you're miserable, delusional, insecure, jealous, and mediocre. When black people shift the world with their joy and laughter, the racist's entire self-image starts to crack. This is why racists gatekeep golf courses, ban urban dress codes, side-eye loud laughter, and call the cops when the music's just a little too bassy. The unnecessary hate and determination to ruin black people's happiness is a disease, a brain-eating amoeba that siphons the cognition out of America's privileged society. And what hurts the most is that happiness and black joy is more infectious.
I want to be clear here. When you have to tell the truth about history, even when it's uncomfortable, black suffering was not a mistake. It was organized. Slavery was not just about labor. It was about breaking spirit. Colonialism was not just about land. It was about rewriting reality. Segregation was not just separation. It was psychological management. The world learned to relate to black people through pain. Pain justified chain. Pain justified thief. Pain justify control. And when you have been taught that a people are meant to struggle, their happiness feels unnatural, almost offensive. This is why the writings of Fanon still matters today. He made it plain. Colonial systems don't just occupy land. They occupy the mind, and most threatening things to that occupation is a colonized person who has healed internally. When we come back to the psychological why peace feels like a defiance, Here is something many people don't realize. Oppression does not only lie on force, it lies on expectation. There is an expectation that black people will always be reacting to injustice, reacting to disrespect, reacting to trauma. When black people become grounded instead of reacting, or instead of reactive, it disrupts the script. Calm black people can't be easily controlled. Centrally black people can't need constant validation. Joyful black people don't perform pain and demand, and that creates discomfort. As boys understood, the real conflict has never been about ability. It has always been about perception. The system needs black people to be seen through limitations because perception shapes policy, behavior, and power. Look around the modern world. When black people speak out about trauma, we are heard. When we speak about healing, we are questioned. When black communities struggle, support comes with the strings. When black communities success, security comes without warning. Look what happened to the Wall Street. African nation asking for fair trade are called unstable. Black entrepreneurs are asked to prove themselves twice. Black culture confidence is framed as divisive. And then comes the most insulting phrase of or black people have too much privilege now. What does it mean? To be honest here, being visible is not power. Being included is not control. Being tolerated is not freedom. What's being labeled privilege is often just black people refusing to stay broken. And that refusal is unsettling, right? This is not about individual. White people, this about system that was never designed for black wholeness. Because a system built on hierarchy needs contract. It needs someone on the bottom to justify someone on the top. That's why Malcolm X was never feared for anger alone. He was feared for clarity. Clarity dissolves illusion, and illusion are the glue that hold an ecosystem together. This experience is shared across the black world. In Africa, resources-rich nations remain poor by design. In the Caribbean, independence is allowed but controlled. In Europe, black labor is welcomed while black dignity is resisted. In America, black progress is celebrated until it becomes self-dialected. This is why Kwame Nkrumah warned that political independence without economy and psychological independence is just a new arrangement of control. The struggle changes name. The pressure stays the same. Here is the part I want you to really sit with. If the world becomes uncomfortable when you are at peace, that doesn't mean you are doing something wrong. It means you are stepping outside the law you were assigned. You were never meant to be whole in a system that profit from your fragmentation. You were never meant to be calm in a world that feeds on your reaction. You were never meant to love yourself without asking for approval. Black joy is not defiance. It's a recovery. And the recovery changes everything. So, what do? We stop performing pain for understanding. We stop shrinking joy to make others comfortable. We stop confusing visibility with liberation. We invest in economic cooperation, culture confidence, Pan-African connection. We study ourselves beyond trauma. We tell our story without filters. We protect our peace like something sacred. As Chinua Achebe reminded the world, until we tell our own stories fully, others will continue to misunderstand and misrespect our humanity. So, live fully, laugh openly, build patiently, heal seriously, because a black world at peace does not ask for permission, it simply exists. And that, more than anything, is what changing history. Tell me what you think about this video in a comment section. Let's meet in the next episode. Peace be with you.